Alright, girl, what are we talking about?
So, today we're going to be talking about the Roman Empire, right? So, like, giant empire, lasted for a long time. But, specifically, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but we're going to be talking about the housings and, like, the family situation. So, in the Roman Empire, there were two main class systems. So, we got the patricians, which are, like, our Donald Trumps, right? They're, like, upper class, super fancy.
See that?
Yeah, right? And then we got the plebeians, which means common in English. They're like the common class, you know. So each lived very differently around the house, obviously. So the plebeians, they lived in these small apartments called insula or insulae. Weird spelling. And they didn't have much running water, and they like couldn't cook because it was so dangerous. So they were kind of like, ew. And so they ate in like inns, and they went out a lot for dinner because they can't cook. So these apartments were 1 or 2 rooms. They were all stacked on top of each other. They were in these giant buildings in the cities. And the patricians, I mean, they lived in these like multi-room, beautiful villas. So they were super fancy and nice. So that wasn't very fair. Okay, so families in the Roman Empire, they had these paterfamilias, some Latin thing, right? So they were essentially the leader. So I mean, it's always a dude, and they call the shots. So they were like, hey, go to the market and get some grapes. And basically, like, I can do whatever the heck I want. So this guy, I mean, we have the same thing in both the patricians and the plebeians. So it's like the dad, pretty much, oldest male. So in the patrician families, they would probably have some slaves. They'd probably have a couple kids, and their life was, like, pretty good. For these rich families, so they had running water, they had plenty of food, they had spacious houses, and you had super cool gardens, which were pretty much built to give them shade. But the coolest thing about these houses, the coolest thing, so they had these atriums, which are these, like, rooms, but they're outside, so they're, like, in the center of the house, and they had open roofs. It was super cool.
Whoa. And
they had, yeah, right? So they had these houses, and they could, like, walk around into all these statue things around it, and they could pretty much be like, hey, respected ancestor, my families and deities, like, super cool, right? They have, like, their family in...
That's what you'll do.
Okay, so, we got these, like, patricians who are waltzing around their fancy homes, so, while, like, the plebeians are like, oh, why do they have all this stuff, and I'm, like, stuck in an insulae. And then their family would be like, it's so small, we have so many people. So, like, we don't have a lot of money, and food, and democracy keeps putting these taxes on us. Okay, so these insulae didn't even have baths, so these commoners had to go down to the bathhouse and bathe with a bunch of other people. So, yeah.
So what do these families look like?
Okay, so these families, they got a mother, they got a father, they got a few kids, but so the mom would stay at home, and she would take care of the kids. The woman in the family was arranged marriage to the man, arranged by their parents or something, and the mom would stay at home, watch with the kids. She would weave stuff, she would, like, sew stuff. So on the other hand, though, the patrician families, their women would pretty much lounge around their house and be like, oh, I love watching over the slaves and as they cook my food and they keep my home fabulous. So they had a ton of kids, and actually the richer the family, the more kids they had. They wanted, the dads wanted them, more people to carry on their lineage and their money. So also these Roman Empire families, they would take in the wives of their sons. So we got a ton of people living under this one house, especially in the plebeian families. They would have like a ton of people, so yeah, it was really cramped. So all in all, the patricians had much more bomb lifestyle and home, and the plebeians pretty much lived in these cramped 2-room apartments in the city, and like there was the whole family, and we're talking about like dads, we got wives, we got kids, grandparents, aunts, uncles, all this stuff. So The whole package. Spencer, that's your line.
Well, let's not forget about the plebeians. They had a lot smaller families. Also, don't jump to conclusions about their lives being that bad.
I mean, dude, their houses sucked. They were probably sitting there and they're like, oh my god, like, this sucks. Like, why are there so many people here?
I mean, I think it really just depends on who you were.